Right, so I'm gonna try and make this my first YouTube video. I'll just get over here because of the light. So I've got this Escort RS Cosworth 1993 in for a full paint correction detail with ceramic coating. From a distance, the car looks great, looks really good. It's had a repaint probably 10, 12 years ago. But the most notable thing with it is there's a lot of orange peel. It just looks flat and dull and a bit dry in areas. So from certain angles, certain distances, you can notice that there is what was I saying? I lost my phone. Quite yeah, as I said, dry, very flat. So in certain lights, it just not much of a reflection. Spoke to a guy I know really well and he's observed the paintwork. We suspect, or he said, should I say, is that the lacquer has shrunk a bit, so which is probably the reason why where it's shrunk is giving that orange peel effect and giving it looking a bit dull. So in the initial cut, you do get the finish back. So yeah, I mean, keep cutting to a point. Looks great. It's better than it was, but for a car like this, you know, like it's got to be right. And being black shows up everything. So, and based on the car, it is, you know, it's worth doing. So straight away, I got into testing one panel, and just with a bit of 2000 wet and dry, it's coming up lovely. So to be perfectly honest, I think that's the way to go. The roof and the bonnet aren't too bad, come up really well with a nice cut, so I'm not really going to focus too much on doing the bonnet and roof as such. Spoiler, again, that'll come up nice with a cut, and the boot's okay, but it's mainly these side panels, so that's what I'm aiming for. Just as it is my first video, I've been doing this for 7 years. My name's Gary. I've been doing this for a long time, and as you can imagine, I'm quite OCD. I'm based just outside Harlow in Essex, so if anyone needs anything, just give us a shout. But yeah, I'll show you what I've been up to, if I can pan it around. So right now, I'm just flattening off this side. Along this top edge, this part has been done. Obviously, we'll be going back over that at some point. It's very hard with this camera to show off how flat it really is in areas. I will be getting onto the driver's door. I'm hoping today. And I can show you the difference with that because the door is the worst panel on the car. But yeah, I'll get cracking and let you all know soon. Speaking of it. Right, so that was a time lapse of initial cutting from going from 2000 grit up to 2.5, and then 3000, and then cutting. I think it looks pretty good. This does take time. It's not an easy process to go through, but it's well worth it. The bit that I didn't mention was, like, you know, I can detail this, get all the swirls, get all the imperfections out to a point, but then what's kind of, then it's like, what is the point? Because with how dry the paint is and the orange peel effects that's happening is, you know, it can be outside, but then you're still going to have that dull reflection, which, you know, when the sun comes and hits it, boom, not a problem. No swirls, none of your usual marring or watermarks. Watermarks, something like that. You know, just your normal imperfections. Anything like that it'll be fine. But as I said, from a distance, you're still going to see the orange peel, and that reflection just won't be sharp, just won't be crisp. So that, to me, for a car like this, and just given the fact it's had a repaint at some point, you know, the paint job ain't bad, it's pretty good. It's just, over time, these things can happen. You know, and I'm not going to name bash or say anything bad about the paint job. I just think in certain areas they did take their time to wet, flat and polish. Certain panels like the roof and the bonnet and the boot and the spoiler, but when it came to the tops, mainly on the side panels like the rear quarter doors and front wings, they just didn't. So, but yeah, so what I'll do is I'll pan around and then show you just from what I've done so far. I now need to sort of go to the lower parts of the rear quarter and then hit the driver's door. I think the driver's door is going to be better to show you what state the paint was in, because that is the worst panel on the car. But yeah, you know, we'll get there. I'm enjoying it because anyone who knows me personally knows how much I love these Escort Cosworths. I've always wanted one myself. Had the SAF a few years back. Some people probably remember, know me, but it was always the Escort Cosworth that I've always wanted. So Focus RS Mark 1s I've had and Mark 2s, but just, yeah, this is like the holy grail for like Fords. So it is close to me to do this. It's quite a rare one, this being solid black, early big turbo. So it is quite a rare car just in itself. So yeah, but yeah, I'll pan you around quickly and then go from there. So I'm hoping that this is going to be picked up. So obviously you saw before how I've done the wet sanding along this section along here. I've already gone up to this point, up to the edge of towards the door anyway. But yeah, it's come up lovely. So it's had some wet sanding, it's had an initial cut, and then about 3 passes cutting. Starting off with the rotary, and then working back to the DA, and then into refining with the DA as well. The rotary just ripped it up, got out those imperfections quickly without inducing too much heat, and then I decided to then, you know, start working back a little bit with the DA and then refining. That's just how I wanted to do it. But yeah, so it's getting a little bit dusty. I find when you're doing all this, it seems to attract dust quite easily. But yeah, if you look down this side towards the light, these lights, the trolley and the bottles, you can see just how crisp it's looking, even with, you know, put my hand there. Whereas before, it was just it was really dull, couldn't really see much of the paintwork. It was just the orange peel texture, anyone that knows what it looks like, you'll understand. Following the light, you can see that it's pretty bang on all the way around. But this girl will get there. If I grab 2 seconds. So if I grab, got my sung down here, so if I show you how it was. So this is what we're dealing with anyway. This is just a general swirls and marring, bad washing from its previous life. Before my customer owned it. Follow on from my time lapse is the rear quarter's now done. So it's all been wet sanded, flattened, multiple stages of correction and refining to bring it up from the sanding marks. And then yeah, finished. So I'll pan over in a minute to. So here's the rear quarter now. Pretty bang on and how it should look. Nice and flat, nice and crystal. There's a few bits of dust on there. It's a bit windy today, so but yeah, and, you know, there's a lot of dust going on with doing this sort of job. Now if I take you down towards the door, I'm hoping you can pick out how flat it is. So if you look to your left at the rear quarter, you can see how crystal clear, almost 4K HD like. That's how I try and do it, explain it to Joe Blogs. If you look to your right, you can just see how flat the finish is. It's just hiding. The paintwork's just hiding on the under there to you know, reveal what it's in a beauty, if you will. But yeah, you know, if I can get them a little bit more, no, camera's not liking it. You can see the orange peel and just how flat it is. You know, and round by the door handle's pretty bad as well. I'm not too sure if that's going to pick up. You know, I'm not too good at videos and explaining, so this is all new to me, so there's much more obviously to do. So yeah, we'll get there, and I'll keep updating as and when. If anyone's interested in my page or my Facebook, anything like that, it's GI Detailing, there's the name. Also my website is www.gidetailing.com. So yeah, I'll look forward to any comments. Again, all new to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, which I'm gonna try and plug as much as I can. Obviously it's quite hard, obviously with a job like this, it's hard to keep updating, but I'll try. So yeah, I think we're winning.